Hello. So this week we've been learning about recursion. Um, and the question for this week that we have is, where are two potential pitfalls of using recursion? And how could you overcome these challenges, either by using an alternative technique or by doing something to help the recursion? So a recursion is a technique that we have in programming where you have a function that inside of the body of the function, it calls itself. So it calls the same function. So you're kind of doing like a loop inside of the function, right? And it is very interesting. I had a little bit of problems like understanding it very well, but um it is very elegant. I think when you can find a solution to a problem using recursion, and but it just does have pitfalls. Like for example, one is that if you're not careful enough, um, your function may fall into an infinite loop, and it can cause your program to crash. So if you don't write the function well enough, if you're not careful, it can easily cause that. Um, Other times, I think that like a pitfall for me is like sometimes it's just difficult to follow. Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's normal or not, but it looks like that. And another thing is that it is for what I understand, it is heavy on memory. Like usually, since it's calling itself, it adds more like frames to the stack, and that yeah, it's just makes it more it uses more memory, right, to function. So what things you can do to overcome these pitfalls? For the first case scenario is that you can first, when you're writing recursive functions, just be sure to make it simple and um, have a scenario where you make sure that the function is going to stop and it's going to end. Like add the first thing is in a recursive function should be that like a case where the function should exit and leave. So that and then continue with the solution, right? But um that way you ensure that you don't fall into this infinite loop and try to test it very well. And another scenario or way to overcome this. Well, in the same question, it says the answer either by using an alternative technique or by doing something to help the recursion. So alternative techniques, what I believe is that you can in many cases, I think you can just use like a loop, like a normal loop, like a for loop or a while loop, and mix that with other data structures like maps and sets or dictionaries. And usually you can come with a solution using those tools that we have in programming. And in many cases, the memory wise is going to be more efficient and um, it could be easier to follow for other developers that are reading your code. So I think those would be my answers. So I hope it's okay.